I've been coming to these obviously for a lot of years, and I always say I go back with at least one good idea that pays for the trip. If I can implement one great idea. So I think my only advice would be for everyone to be looking for that nugget. Look at that nugget that I can take back that will enhance my business.
About the car wash industry, you don't have to come in with a degree, you don't have to come in with a lot of experience. All you need is heart and drive. And if you come in with those, I can show you a path to be successful as long as that's successful to you.
The car wash industry is very communal. We share ideas, we go visit each other's washes, we do pick and choose things and take great menu designs or hiring practices. If you're intentionally building these relationships along the way, you suddenly look up and you think, I have a lot of people that I can call if I have questions.
Attend some of the educational sessions this morning?
I did.
Was there one that stuck out or anything that you learned that was kind of sticking with you?
Everything's all about tech. You have to be up on your tech, and that's really the way that things are changing. And if you're not, you're going to be left behind.
You know, we're learning a whole lot about leadership, how to grow your business, how to, utilize other sort of resources in the industry. So, another takeaway is just using, other business models to incorporate it in the car wash industry.
One thing that you can do today is take any list of the customers that you have, export it from whatever system you're in, literally an Excel spreadsheet, and go to your Facebook business profile, load that in there, and create a lookalike audience. It is a way for you to extend the data you have today, come up into the predictive world of who your potential customers would be. From there, you serve them your ads. And in that way, you are most likely to attract your new customers because they already look like the customers that you have today, and Facebook does that on the back end for you with all their algorithms.
You've heard the term, analysis paralysis, which is just simply reviewing data, but not actually, doing anything with that data. And personally with our business, we've grown aggressively via acquisitions. And with that comes a wide array of understanding how to read data or even what reports they might be looking at. You understand the data now, focusing on repetition and really understanding it, but now what are we going to actually do with it, which is driving that change. So following that KPI tree down to that root cause or the root problem, or maybe it's something really good that you guys are doing operationally. But really understanding that and then developing that action plan has really been our focus in making sure that everybody truly understands the data and that they can kind of repeat it in their sleep.
It really started out as a very mercenary concept. We were just trying to get more cars to come in to see us. But as we continued to donate to charities and raise money for various local charities around our car wash, they started to invite us to go see them and see the charities and the work that they did. And that really converted us into why we do what we do. There's certainly a great component to cost-related marketing. We did a fundraiser called Wash USA in the early 2000s, where car washers across the country donated part of their proceeds from a day to Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish came out and said that they had surveyed that 86% of the people that saw a company supporting a charity that they liked, not necessarily supported, but liked, they would use that business and patronize that business. So we just found it to be an amazing tool, but more than that, it was amazing how we were helping people.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Car Wash Magazine Live. This is day 3 of the Car Wash Show 2022 in Nashville, Tennessee. We've had record-breaking numbers for this show. We are more than 8,100 attendees at this point, so a very big show, a very fun time. And I hope that everybody's had a chance to tune in to some of the programming on this show. We had a ton of great education sessions over the last couple of days and got some great updates this morning at the state of the industry, and got to hear from Ben Nempton talking about the buried life and how you can make the most of your time on this earth. So that's a lot of serious stuff. We're going to transition today now into some conversations about people. So we've got 4 interviews for you in this room with 4 fantastic individuals from some of the up-and-coming and big organizations in this industry. And in between those things, we're going to give away some prizes. So we're going to play some more Playco because we have the board and we have the prizes and we have the people. And so we're going to do that in between these interviews to give you all some excitement and engagement in between. Yesterday, we gave away a few Car Wash Show packages. So 3 lucky winners yesterday will be able to attend the Car Wash Show 2023. So that's super exciting for them. We gave away some cash prizes. We gave away some speakers. We gave away a lot of things. So we're going to do some more of that today. But for now, I'm happy to introduce ICA CEO Eric Wolf and Go Car Wash's Chris Anderson. The stage is yours, my friends.
Thank you, Matt. By the way, you've done such a fantastic job these last couple of days. It has been no small feat what you've managed here in the studio. But it is nice to be reminded, at least I know now, you are still human. Like, you started sitting down. Yeah. So, like, day 1, day 2, you're hopping around and jumping. Day 3 is a thing, I mean, with the effort you've put in. So, anyway, thank you for an awesome job in the studio. Really appreciate it, Matt.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
All right, we're here with Chris Anderson. And, yes, your shoes are getting in the shot, by the way.
Excellent. Got to make sure they're in there.
So Go, between the shirts and the shoes, has really stood out this week and at shows and industry events now, which we love. But Chris, thanks for making time today, this morning. It's been a busy week for you. You and I have known each other for a while in a couple of capacities. So maybe we'll start off with talk about your entree into car washing. How did you get here, and a little bit about your background?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me on, Eric. It's good to see you again. So my background coming into car wash, I was at an OEM manufacturer for about 4 years in the car wash space. Had a great run there, and it was primarily in the rollover space. And one thing I recognized is I was standing on a corner one day looking across the street at a tunnel, and I said, wow, there were a lot of people going in that tunnel. So it looked like a very good business. I briefly left the car wash business, came back, and now I'm in the tunnel side business with Go Car Wash. My current capacity is Vice President of Business Development, so I oversee acquisitions at Go Car Wash, and so far we're having a pretty good run. We've got 106 car washes and growing every day, so it's pretty exciting to see what's going on in the industry.
Yeah, I was kidding you earlier this week how every time I look at my LinkedIn feed, it's Chris in another city with another group of folks welcoming them into the Go family, so congratulations. Talk about the Go strategy, if you would, the growth strategy, and how you're seeing yourself go forward. It's been fast to 100 stores. Mm-hmm. Is it all acquisition? Is it some greenfield? Where does this company go next?
Yeah, so we've only been around for 3 years, so we're fairly new to the business, but obviously we've grown very quickly through private equity funding. Up to this point, when we started the company overall, we started it with the concept that we want to have systems and processes that we could be running 500 car washes. So that was our vision overall. We wanted to move very quickly in the industry. We've built out the various functions to be able to get growth, the business development, the corporate development, and most importantly, our operations. And we've invested heavily in our people. We've got 60 people at the show here. And, as part of their development to be able to go to a lot of the different educational seminars. So we're really developing for the future. And as the executive team management, basically we're looking at the people that we're bringing through this organization. How can we bring them up to replace us as they move up in the organization as we become a larger company? Yeah. And yes, most of it's been through acquisition. Late last year, we hired a development arm. We took somebody who used to take care of Starbucks and Lifetime Fitness, and we made Nick Koros our head of development. So we've got a strong development pipeline. We've got over 60 sites in development at the moment. So we're seeing a bright future for Go Car Wash.
Where do you think that mix is going to be going in the next 18 months, maybe? This idea of development versus acquisition. I mean, it is getting frothier, right? I mean, the multiples and the number of available stores to be acquired and the number of companies hunting those. I mean, do you see a big shift coming? Do you think there's still plenty of, call it white space from an acquisition perspective ahead?
Sure. You know, generally we think that there's about 10,000 car washes out there, and it's still a highly fragmented industry. So we see plenty of opportunity for more acquisition for the future. As we look at it, you know, we're very selective as a group, and I think many of the other groups are as well, of what markets we want to play in, and then what platforms we want to go after within those markets. So are they getting tighter and tighter in the space? Sure they are. But if you look at the blend, us as an organization, and maybe some others do this as well, we've been about 80 to 90% acquisition up to this point. I think it's going to be more like 50-50 as we go forward. We still see a lot of white space out there in the industry to do development. And it's nice because instantly we can put our systems and processes in place and keep it fairly simple for us through development as well.
Okay. So as you look at the landscape here and you're looking at opportunities, development or acquire, what is sort of your filter? So are you selective in the types of markets or specific areas of the country? So in other words, there's places you're not looking now, maybe, and then beyond the earnings and performance of a store, which is, I'm sure, the most important, do you also then look at other attributes that make you be able to determine whether or not that piece or that store is a good fit for the Go family?
Yeah, that's a great question. So certainly from the market perspective, yes, we would like to find markets where we could be number one or number two. If we don't have line of sight to number one or number two in that market, we probably won't go play there. We look at the competitors that are in this space, and generally we're trying to avoid the larger companies like ourselves so that we can get into the areas where we can get to market leadership quickly. Our criteria that we're looking for, of course, we're looking for express operators. We're considering some full serves if it's an easy conversion. And you know, most importantly is we look at the team. We look at the team, the leadership that comes along with it, and we like to bring in really strong team members to the Go Car Wash team, because a lot of times what we find is they can teach us an awful lot about the market and about how they do things. And our acquisitions have really changed a lot of the way we do business. So it's good to have the learnings from the local team.
And I wonder, too, you talk about the people at these stores that become part of the family, I'll keep calling it, or the network, the Go network. What have you learned from those acquisitions? Are you creating, and I'll tee this one up a little bit, because I hear this from folks in your platform and even some others, where now I can create a career path that's much more robust than it was at a 3, 5, 10 store chain, right? I could be in a different part of the country. I mean, is that part of your strategy, too, to give people visibility into a path, and are you able to operationalize that yet across the network?
Yeah, so we are a very people-focused organization, because at the end of the day, for us, it's the site-level leader that makes this business happen, and it's our job to be able to empower that leader to be successful. When we go out and acquire companies, what we find is, of course, they're looking for a good price. There's no question about that. But they're also looking for a company that carries on their legacy and takes care of their people and their customers. And what we find is there's a lot of people that are looking for career growth. And a larger company like Go Car Wash, like some of the other consolidators, offer that. As a specific example, in Q1 of this year, we had 45 promotions throughout the company. And those were all people that came from acquisitions.
Wow.
So yes, it absolutely opens up more opportunities to be able to go to site-level leadership, and then to be able to manage multiple sites, to market-level leadership and beyond. So there's a lot of career opportunities.
Yeah, and I mean, that I mentioned this a little bit this morning in our general session about how, with all the stuff going on, all the transactions and headline buzz, it's still, I think, the most important job in the industry is car wash manager. I mean, I really do.
No question.
And we're creating wonderful careers for people in this industry. I think your organization is a great example, right, of giving people that opportunity to grow. Okay, so white space and growth and development and all these wonderful things are happening sort of top line, and we're all feeling great right now. But what, as a business leader, what are you looking at? What might keep you up, or what might start to keep you up at night if you saw a trend moving? What warning clouds on the horizon are you trying to keep an eye on? How are you going to know that things are changing, slowing, that might have to adjust your strategy?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're still very bullish on the car wash industry because I think we've got a lot of great places to go, a lot of good levers to pull to be able to create a great business. You know, some of the things that we pay attention to, so certainly interest rates is something, because there's a lot of things are financed, so cost of capital goes up, it makes it a little bit more difficult. You know, different political issues that are happening across the country, or around the world, like the war in Ukraine, is something that we pay attention to. And if a recession should hit, I mean, certainly we would pay attention to that as well. But, you know, at the end of the day, this business you can't put on the internet. You can't outsource it to China. So we're still very bullish about it. You know, there's no inventory and there's no receivables. So overall, I've been in a lot of different businesses. Even if hard economic times hit, we're still very bullish on where we're going here as an industry.
Yeah, and one of the few industries that had not a full recession by definition in an unusual circumstance, but we had the experience of COVID, right, to see how during an economic collapse, shorter term, how this industry performed, and it was pretty good.
It was great.
It was pretty good. so just amazing. Where do you think this ends up? And ends up, that means that there would be necessarily a stop to it. It's not what I believe or am inferring, but like, what does maturity look like? What does the market look like 5 years from now, maybe? I mean, you already talked about this shift toward maybe more development. Do you see 5 major players have 80%? Do you see, what does that look like if you had to make some bets?
Yeah, so clearly consolidation is going to continue to happen in the industry, but again, we're so fragmented right now. We're still in the early stages of consolidation. Yes, there could be 5 major players that are across the country, but even within that, there's going to be some winners, and you know, it's hard to say that there's actually going to be losers in the industry, but there's going to be some folks that really win and some folks that only win a little bit. And, you know, I think the key differentiator is those companies that have people-centric cultures, that haven't forgot we're all car washers, you know, that we're getting out there every day, and our job is to wash clean cars and make sure that customers are happy. So I think that, you know, that's what's going to be the determination between the winners and losers as we go forward.
Yeah, neat. All right, so final question, and I know you have a busy day, like everybody does, right, at this time in the industry, but anything that maybe it's something on the show floor you've seen or just more macro, that you think is still ripe for some innovation or disruption? Like, is it a process technology? Is it a model, a business model where you say, I think the next piece is going to be the possibility of solving this problem, or an innovation that might change the game again for this industry? Anything stand out to you in that regard?
Yeah, so I think one thing that stood out for me, and it starts with the operator and the evolution of the operator. We're getting much, much larger, and we're getting to be more complex businesses. Yeah. So to be able, to manage 5 car washes is a completely different skill set than it is to manage 500 car washes. So I think I've seen a lot of innovation out there on the floor that's allowing us to scale our businesses while minimizing complexity. I was at Berkshire Hathaway for a little while, and one thing Warren Buffett taught me was to really focus but minimize complexity. And a lot of the technology that we're seeing out there is giving us better visibility to what is happening on the site level, so it's transparent across the entire organization, and ultimately enabling us to be able to better scale our businesses.
Yeah,
so it's pretty exciting.
Fascinating stuff on the floor and happening in this business. Yeah. So I want to thank you. Go Car Wash is a corporate supporter, member of ICA. You've been a great friend to ICA yourself, in service on our board of directors over the years. I wish you the best on that march to 500. I bet it won't take as long as the first 3 years. You guys are rocking it right now. So Chris, best of luck, and thanks for giving us time today. Really appreciate it.
And thank you, Eric, and thank you all for everything that the ICA does for the industry. It really makes a big impact for us.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Have a good day. Matt.
hello. No?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Got me now?
There you go.
We'll go with this one for right now. So I don't know if you remember the commercial. This might age me a little bit. There's a commercial from Nike that it's got to be the shoes, right? I think in this case, it's more than the shoes, but the shoes are pretty dope. I mean, honestly, like, I love the shoes. We were actually trying to find a picture of the Go Car Wash shoes. We were telling a story to somebody else about how cool those shoes were, but we couldn't find them. So where do you find pictures of the shoes?
Where do we find pictures of the shoes? So we got them offline, but just real quick, one of our sellers got these for us as a gift, and it spread throughout the entire company. So we got them from one of our sellers. So it was the Merchant family in Lubbock, Texas.
All right, good. Now we can get shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so
That's cellular.
So great conversation between these two folks. We're gonna give away some prizes right now. You all can take a break. You guys can go do what you need to do. After we do some Plinko, we're gonna have Hank Richard from Mr. Magic come up and have a similar conversation with Eric Wolf. But first, the first person who can tell me what my favorite game is can come play Plinko. Show your hand.
In the back.
Show hands.
Take off your microphone.
Yep.
You got it. Hey, hardest question all day. Come on up. See, it's easy. It's easy. All right. Go ahead and introduce yourself for me.
Don't go anywhere.
Here, come over. Come this way. Is it on? Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, Kayla, Laura, Go Car Wash.
Perfect. We're gonna all right. Okay. Here's the deal. You hang here. Take a look at the board here, and you are going to drop your puck. You're gonna win one of these, but you have an option. You can move these any way you want them, or you can leave it. So this is our twist on Plinko. So you think about it. I'm gonna get your chip. Yeah, we don't have the trip. We don't have the trip on there yet. Okay. We're doing some magic here. I think this is gonna be. Oh, she's stacking it.
The laugh
Look at that. That's a pro move right there. Look at that. Okay. All right. That's very strategic. That's awesome. All right. Go ahead. You can come around the back. Don't drop it until I say drop. And you're gonna put it. There's a little spot where you kind of drop the puck in. You see it? Yeah. So put it flat against the panel. Hold it for just a second. We're going to do a 3, 2, 1 drop. Ready? 3, 2, 1 drop. Oh, there it goes. Oh, it bounced. Oh, where'd it go? You can come on down. Oh, it's a speaker. Hey, congratulations. It's a Bluetooth speaker branded with a pretty cool Car Wash Magazine Live logo. Thank you so much for playing. You can pick up your prize. You got to go back in the back. Brennan will hook you up, and then you'll actually pick it up from the DRB booth as our sponsors of Plinko. So thank you. Excellent. Who else? Who else wants to play Plinko? Right there, my man. Yeah, come on up. We need some. Next time we do Plinko, I'm gonna have like game show music. Yeah, I need some game show music for sure. How you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
Chris.
Chris, you're with Camel Express.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Is this your first car wash show?
No, I actually went to the last one.
Okay, so you're an old pro. You're an old pro at this, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have Plinko last time.
No, we didn't have Plinko last time. No, we did not, because my dreams came true this year, not last year. Yeah. All right. So same story. She stacked the deck here a little bit. She was trying to be strategic in what she was winning. You can change it, or you can leave it. What do you want to do? You're gonna leave it. All right. Here's your chip.
All right.
You can go around the back. Yeah, a little dicey. Okay, don't drop it yet. Don't drop it yet. Okay, let's put the puck flat against the wood.
All right.
Put it down. Yeah, right there. Okay, hold up. What do you guys think he's gonna get? Yeti. I'm hearing Yeti. What do you want to get? Doesn't matter, man. See, I love this guy. Like, he's just happy to be here. That's my favorite because you're not a diva. We don't have to do anything special. Like, let's 3, 2, 1, drop. All right. Called it. That's a Yeti. Come on down. Congratulations. Yeah, man. All right, so you get a Yeti. You're going to go back to the back table there. Brendan's going to give you a coupon for your prize, and you're going to take that to the DRB booth.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Go have a great day, man. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right, hang around. We're going to be right back in just a couple of minutes here, and you know the drill. Keep it clean, friends.
I had a former mentor actually tell me a phrase that's really kept in my own mind in terms of being cognizant of where.
Well, it started in 1995 when we bought a couple of older car washes and started selling car wash equipment. When people think of Splash, I want them to think about a neighborhood car wash that's very professional and where they can get a very pleasant experience. Our family's critical to our business because we're all vested in it. It's part of who we are. Our kids grew up in the car wash business. We're actually at our car washes every day. It's not just an investment for us. When I see a car roll up, but a mom gets out with her kids and goes in our lobby, the feeling of comfort that I get is knowing not only is the lobby going to be clean and inviting and something to do for the kids, the people that are on our team fit our culture, and it's a family culture. Of course you want a clean car, but it's more than that. It needs to be inviting. You need to feel like you're doing business at a company that's part of the neighborhood. We give back. We care. We're part of the community.
This was our 6th location here at Sergeant Clean's in Greene, Ohio. This was a pre-existing that we remodeled, so it had self-service bays as well as oil change, and we actually flipped the tunnel completely around. So cars used to enter the opposite of what you're seeing here now. We still kept the self-service bays. We extended the building about 30-40 feet and raised the back area. We have a highway close by and put car wash there so we can get as much visibility as we can from the highway. Here's the oil change bays. So we actually converted the oil change bays into our XPT lanes, creating a members only lane. So it's just been phenomenal. It was great. Very helpful for the customers and just to create a more efficient process and really utilize those instead of just tearing that building down. You'll see here, and we'll see a little more once we're on the actual drive through the tunnel. We have a decline that goes into our tunnel. It's for a couple of different ways. So we wanted the customer to go up an incline and then go down into the car wash. One, for visibility, so the team member and the consumer can make eye contact quicker and sooner so they can see into the tunnel, making it easier for them. And also, two, they're riding the brake versus the gas when they enter your facility. We have Sunny's and AVW, kind of a blend between them. One of the great things you saw was no prepping. So if you're a fan of no prepping, we do no prepping here at Sergeant Clean's. And the drying chamber, this is phenomenal here. Customers really love it. We have some red LED lights in there. If you look at the end here at the upper left and at the upper right, we have some turbine heaters that were placed in and just to create that blow dry effect as you would in a public bathroom. And there's the vacuum area. We got about 20 free vacuums for our customers to use. And so far, so good.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Car Wash Magazine Live, coming to you from the Car Wash Show in Nashville. We're back for some more people conversations. That's what this morning is all about. We're talking to great people in this industry. We're all pretty great people in this industry, but we've highlighted a few for you that I think have some really special stories. And so we're going to turn the stage over now to ICA CEO Eric Wolf and Hank Richard of Mr. Magic. which I love the way, but I love the name, by the way, Mr. Magic. How often do you get to say things like Mr. Magic Car Wash, the Bubble Barn, Bubble Bath? I mean, come on, how fun is this, right? All yours, my friends.
Hank's always kind of been Mr. Magic. Hey, Hank, thanks for making time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. We're awesome. We're really excited to be here with you.
I've been fortunate to know you for quite a while and have a lot of fun and car wash adventures with you. And but give those folks who might not be familiar with the Hank Richards story a little bit of a description of how you got into car washing, what your background was before this. Just set the stage.
So I've been in the industry for 30 years in different sides of the business. We had a distributorship that myself and a partner, Vic Monteleone, built from the ground up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We built that, it's called Car Wash Technologies. Built that service. We were distributors for a number of leading brands. Built 120, 130 car washes, mostly tunnels. We worked with different petroleum retailers, grew that business, eventually sold that to NCS. And when I went, after I sold that to NCS, my wife decided that she probably had enough of me rearranging her kitchen and helping her plan her day and being one of my employees. She thought maybe I should go get a real job again.
Yes.
So I did that. I went to work for Simon Eyes, a great group. I was a national sales manager for Simon Eyes. Got an opportunity to see the top retailers in our industry, work with them, and then left Simon Eyes for the opportunity to become an operator with Mr. Magic. The folks at Incline Equity partnered with us, and myself, my brother, a gentleman named Rich Donato, are the kind of the lead management team, and we have been super fortunate to purchase 14 existing sites in Western Pennsylvania, and really rebranding all those, trying to bring the latest technology in our industry to Western Pennsylvania, and it's working really well for us.
Great. Well, I want to go to Mr. Magic in a second and understand more of that story, but your background on the petroleum side, I wonder if we could talk about that for a minute, because you've seen consolidation, right? And then you've seen divestiture, and you've probably seen a number of those in the petroleum side of the business over the years.
Right.
And so what are the corollaries? What's similar and what's not? I mean, with what's happening on the retail side, right? The private investor or now platform side of the business. Do you think did you learn something through the petroleum days that you're keeping in mind as you go forward now?
Well, I hope we all learn something from our, prior lives, right? But one of the interesting pieces from the petroleum side is it's very, very analogous business, because it has dominated by owner-operators, small ones, twos, moms, pops, as we all remember, right? When we would, well, maybe not all of us, but when I was growing up, you would go to the gas station, and to use the restroom was a major feat. You had to drag the tire around with you on a chain to the outside, and only coffee you could get there was out of a machine, right? It was a lot of times there was a dog inside that was trying to bite you, and so it was a different experience. Today you go to get fuel, and you have people like Sheetz or Racetrack or lots of other operators that are world-class retailers, and they really dominate that space. For you to go to a mom and pop one-off site in gasoline, you just don't do that anymore. And they just have really been left behind. And so it's interesting to me, because I think we're at that same nexus with the car wash industry, because we have world-class retailers, world-class money coming into our business and really focusing on what the consumer wants, which is exactly what happened in the gasoline space, right? People wanted clean, safe, reliable places to buy gas. They wanted to have an opportunity where they could have a safe car wash next to it that they're willing to pay for. They wanted the opportunity to buy a cup of coffee, maybe espresso, be able to grab a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk, and they brought all those pieces together in a great offering, and made it convenient for the customer. 24-hour operations and very clean bathrooms, right? It was one of their hallmarks, and so they've kind of have taken that reign and given the customer exactly what they wanted, and the retailers that didn't get on that train have been left behind. When all this consolidation was going on, there's similar multiples. There's guys making lots of money selling off their businesses, but some guys have decided they weren't going to do that, and they wanted to hold on to it, and they were going to run things like they'd always had. And unfortunately, a lot of those guys aren't in business anymore.
Well, it is an interesting comparison, and you're right. Look at what's happened to convenience retailing, the parcel, right, and the store and the quality. And I think we're seeing that in car washing, and you see it with the people, right? I mean, the kind of talent coming into the business on the retail side is incredible. I mean, people from amazing other industries and new ideas flooding in, and just an incredible time to be doing what you do.
Right. I think that, when I got into the business, every operator I knew in the tunnel side of the business had a welder on site. Every one of them knew how to weld. Every one of them knew the pressures of all their pumps. Every one of them changed the oil in their cat pump and had it written on top when they did that last. It was very different. Today, the best operators don't micromanage at that level. Instead, what they're focused on is being a retailer. And I think that's really what is changing our industry, and why I have so much, I believe the ceiling for our industry is so high, is because what we're doing now is we're impacting frequency. So we're actually giving the consumer what they want, and they're washing their car more often. They're feeling safe. They're feeling appreciated. They're happy to join our unlimited clubs because it becomes their car wash. They don't look at it as an adversarial relationship that they have to do 2 or 3 times a year because there's salt all over their car. They look at it as they love driving a clean, dry, shiny car, and we're giving it to them at a value point that works in their budget.
Yeah. Well, agree 100%, and I think there is a lot of opportunity still for this industry. The growth is super exciting. So let's talk about your growth. Let's talk about Mr. Magic strategy. I think we talked a second ago before this started, something you're doing a little bit different is, the express model came to the Sunshine States first, right?
Sure.
And I live in the Chicagoland area, and you're from the Great Lakes Upper Midwest area in PA.
Akron, Ohio, beautiful Akron, Ohio.
Akron, Ohio. And, the express has been later to those parts of the country. A lot of full service, older model exterior, flex, etc. So you're doing something a little bit different, perhaps, than what we're seeing in other parts of the country. You're capitalizing on these trends and building out this Mr. Magic platform. So talk about how you might be different and what you're doing.
Right. So there's been a lot of conversation that trends start out on the West Coast and they work their way across the country, and somewhere in the Midwest they hit a speed bump and hop over and land on the East Coast, and then kind of comes back 2 or 3 years later and comes to places like Pittsburgh. And that makes Pittsburgh great for a lot of reasons, because it still has a lot of hometown feel, and it's very parochial, and it's a great place to live and raise a family. But if you're looking for the latest trend, you're not going to find it there most times. Now, it's not because people don't want it. It's just because the retailers haven't embraced it. And so one of the things we're trying to do, because of my background, having had the opportunity to work with some of the best retailers in our industry across the country, is I've seen what really works. And a great thing that we have in our industry is a lot of those folks have been willing to share and mentor people like myself who are looking to have an impact in our market. And so what we've done is we've brought that back to Pittsburgh. And instead of tearing down and building all new sites and just starting with greenfields, we have tried to find a mix there. And so we have taken existing sites that maybe were doing things the way we did them in the 1980s, and we've retooled the equipment, we're retooling the processes, putting in new vacuums, putting in free vacuums, putting in pay heads, putting in the unlimited clubs, and really retraining the staff to embrace the customer. It's interesting, and I don't know that Pittsburgh is any different than a lot of the country, but the staff almost viewed the customer as an annoyance that was necessary, right? We've changed that. We're turning that on our head, right? Instead of our managers being required to do all the maintenance and be welders and be able to change the oil in the cat pump, our managers are customer service focused. We're trying to hire people that understand the value point for us is what we deliver to the customer. And so we're constantly focused on building our staff with those type of people, and then pushing that out to the customer so the customer understands that they're the focus of our business.
Yeah, interesting. Well, it sounds like, am I right, that another differentiator, just to highlight something you said, is this idea that you're not just looking for express stores to acquire. I mean, and part of it is there's a dearth of them in your area, right?
Yeah,
so you have to be able to look at a site and talk to an owner who might be interested in partnering with you and say, you're not just looking at the P&L from that store as it exists today, but you have a little extra level of maybe complexity or creativity that you have to apply to evaluating a store and taking flex and full. I mean, I don't see that happening too much elsewhere in the industry, that flex and full are entering into platforms like yours. Is that a real differentiator? Is that getting traction?
It is in our market and for our people, right? And it does add a level of complexity when you're negotiating and talking about the financials of somebody's business, because quite frankly, the flex part of their business or the detailing part of their business or maybe self-serve, whatever else is on that property is a key component to their profit. And they aren't necessarily running high volume. So you have to be creative, you have to look at what the site can do and what the opportunity is there, and then you got to try and put a price on that. And so that's it is there's a little bit of magic in there, I think, and there's also a little bit of speculation. But so far, we've been super fortunate that we've been able to drive that out. So what we've been able to project, we've been able to do. And we've been very well received by the customer. I think, in our world, one of the value points for us is convenience. And so when, unfortunately, most full serve, most flex, they just can't be as quick as we can, right? When you come on our lot, even if you're 15th, 20th in line, you're through the car wash within 15 minutes. Yeah. In a flex type scenario, that's not the case. And so we're getting our fair share, let's say, of that marketplace, and that hasn't been available in Pittsburgh. So it's really something that we're bringing there, and it's been very well received so far.
Yeah, neat.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the brand strategy, or what's in your family right now of stores. So you've got Mr. Magic is the platform name,
right?
And then you've got a few different brands under that. Will that evolve over time, do you think? Are those brands going to eventually transition? Is that a part of what you
rapidly,
think?
Right? So for us, right? I mean, now we're in a smaller market, so I know that there's been some great retailers or some great people in the industry that have kept existing brands out. Yep. But for us, we think the value really is to make everything Mr. Magic. And so it's been one of the big challenges for my team is to try and get that done quickly. Yeah. And so we should be done with the original 11 stores that we bought. We should have that done before the end of June. And then we have a few more stores that we've acquired since then that'll be within the next 30 days after that, something like that. Neat. So our vision is to have everything in our portfolio be Mr. Magic.
Okay. So last question. Things are going great right now. I've been asking people this throughout the week in interviews. Like, everything is going up and to the right. Fantastic. What are you watching? What information do you try to pay attention to? Maybe what people do you listen to? Or what do you see on the street that is going to inform your decision going forward of, oh wait, something is changing, right? I might have to tack my strategy, because right now people even can fail up, right? Oh, so, yeah, sure. So what are you looking at that'll tell you maybe there's some headwinds on the way? What's the data that you're processing?
Well, I don't think that in our particular environment, again, we're unique, but in our environment, we're not in Dallas, we're not in Houston, we're not in Los Angeles, so we don't have tons of competition that is building right next to us. What my biggest concern is other car washes in our market, as they do come in, is for them not to deliver on the promise. Okay, so, what I mean to that is the value proposition to the customer. They don't have to be doing what I'm doing, they don't have to price where I'm pricing, they don't have to have the same offering, which is probably good if they don't. But what I think that our biggest enemy could be ourselves. Because I think the consumer is looking at car washes with a brand new eye because of our unlimited proposition and our value proposition and what we're doing with our employees and the type of employee we're hiring and how we're interfacing with them. Free vacuums. We're not charging them, 50 cents for this, $1 for that. We're not having these crazy discount schemes all over the place, right? We're really having a consistent offering, similar to most world-class retailers outside of our industry. So it's understandable to them. They don't think that they have to be an insider to get the best deal. I think the worst thing that can happen to us is ourselves by us not delivering on that promise, not giving a good offering. If I could help my competitors actually deliver a better car wash, I'd like them to. I don't need to, for our sites to be successful, we don't have to climb on the skeletons of people that weren't. We need everybody to do it. That old adage that a rising tide lifts all the ships. I think that happens in our industry. You know, we can impact frequency with the unlimited clubs. And I can get my share of the unlimited clubs, and there's a big share of other people to get a share of unlimited clubs, and all of us to do really well.
Right.
Where we start to struggle is when somebody buys an unlimited club from my competitor, or from me for that matter, and we don't deliver on their expectation. All of a sudden, for them, car washes are what they were 20 years ago.
Right. Yeah, we don't want to push them back to the driveway or away from washing by that. We want to keep them in this new modern paradigm. Yeah, yeah. Hank, it's been awesome spending time with you. We could do this for hours. Maybe we will next year.
Nice.
Just
Be all in. I'm
a
all
day
in.
of Hank Richard would
I'm
be
all
fun.
in. Right.
But thanks so much for the time you've given us. Good luck with Mr. Magic. Thanks for all the support you've given ICA.
Oh, you know, it's for us, ICA, I was on the board, as you know, and we had a lot of fun doing that. But so many great people we've met through our association with ICA. And I will tell you, Eric, I mean, through your leadership and your team's leadership, we've really been able to kind of help the industry get to where we are. And it's been phenomenal. It's phenomenal growth.
Thanks, Hank. Much appreciated. All right. Back to you, Matt.
All right, here we go. We've got...
Microphone.
so it's not fair.
You want me to take it, Matt? You want me to go? No.
Nope.
Am I on now? I'm on now.
Can you hear me now?
Am I on now?
Handheld.
Am I on now? Okay, we're doing handheld for a minute. So we've got a couple great conversations coming up after this one. Super awesome to listen to Hank share your story. Thank you so much for being here.
Awesome.
Thanks for being willing to do this for us.
Thank you. Thanks for asking me.
We won't ask you again, though. I'm kidding. So coming up, we've got Russ Reynolds from Spotless Brands, which is the new name of Car Wash Owners Network. And then we're going to talk to John Teddy from Driven Brands. So a couple great conversations coming up. We're going to do one round of Plinko because we do have some prizes left over. There's still some good ones up here. So who likes to play Plinko? Anyone? There you go. Yeah, come on up. Is it really? Yeah, mine too. Clearly.
Here. All right, first, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Chuck Roy, and I'm in Mississippi.
All right, awesome. Chuck, tell me, I'm gonna make you answer a couple questions, though. So tell me, what was your favorite thing about the Car Wash Show this year?
I think my favorite thing is that everyone is so friendly and willing to share their ideas and best practices, and it's really humbling. You know, it's very impressive.
Awesome. Are you going home with equipment?
I may have made a $10,000 purchase while I was here.
There you go. Yeah. See, that's what it's about. You're connecting people so they can get what they need. That's what we're here for. Awesome. Well, okay. So we've got some prizes here on the bottom. I can actually add a couple additional prizes. So here's your choice. We can swap 2 of these for a $50 gift card prize, or you can leave it as is. What would you like to do?
I can pick anything?
Well, you can pick cash to go on this board.
Okay.
Or just leave all these up here. So I can put up one $50 option to replace one of these options.
Okay. I'll do the $50 option to replace a Yeti.
To replace the Yeti. Okay, let's check. Let's see. Now you know what's going to happen, right? Is you're just going to hit the other Yeti.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So, So which one do you want to replace?
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. All right. So this is it. Okay. We're going to change something up because this has been bugging me. Because I have like a you can see.
Do you have to color coordinate that?
There's one more. No, I want to, but we're not going to unpack that today. Yeah. We don't need to get into my therapy sessions.
Next year.
Yeah. Next year. So here we go. So one of the things we were running into is you see this row?
Mm-hmm.
People got real close to winning grand prizes and it looked like it was going in. And then it hit this, and it bounced over. And I had to be the guy that was like, oh, just earbuds. Sorry, not 250 bucks, just earbuds. So now we can see it. Now we know what's coming up. I'm going to give this to you. I'm going to take the mic back. All right, and then you're going to go around, climb up, and we're going to let it rip. So don't drop it until we get a countdown for you. I'll do 3, 2, 1, drop. Yeah, so you'll go flat against the plywood there with your puck. There you go. Okay. Now, I really hope you get the $50. You get one chip. Yeah. He found all my chips. That's not fair. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, drop. Earbuds. Oh, I just said earbuds. It's earbuds. Hey, all right. Nice job. You can go back to the back table there, and you'll be able to get what you need to get your prize. I think they've got the actual prizes over in the DRB booth because they did sponsor this for us. But thank you so much for playing.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Anybody else? We got some prizes today. Yeah, come on up, brother. See, I had to fix this because people thought I rigged the game. They were like, "Oh, you got pucks and all the things, and you're just picking what you want." Full transparency on this show, friends. All right, here we go. So, I'm going to give you this. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Brian from Casper, Wyoming with Letterbutt Car Wash.
Awesome. Brian, I'm going to have you answer one question for me. What's the one thing that you're taking back from the show?
A lot of knowledge. That's why I come to these. It's nice to talk to the other people and get an idea. And I do a lot of the maintenance stuff, so getting my answer, that kind of stuff answered, and being face-to-face with somebody that you usually talk to on the phone.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So.
Perfect. All right. So, same story. You can rearrange these if you like, or you can leave them as is.
I think they look good.
All right, they look good. All right, here's your chip. I'll take the mic. Watch your step back there. There you go. Yep. All right. Flat against the thing. Don't drop it yet. Hold on for just a second. What do you want to win? Earbuds. See? They want the earbuds. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, drop. Oh, what'd you get? Oh, you got a Bluetooth speaker. That's awesome. We only had 2 of those left, and you get one. Awesome, brother. Thanks. Hey, thank you for playing. Awesome. You just get your prize from the tech table in the back. They'll hook you up. Okay, friends, we'll be back in 6 minutes with our next conversation with Russ Reynolds of Spotless Car Wash Brands here. Here we go.
Matt, what you're looking at is an overview of our Fairfield, California car wash. And this was built in 1965, and it is still going strong today, over 55 years old. You can see the self-service car wash there in front, and here we use the wash as long as you want concept, which we can talk more about later. Our vacuum pricing is now $2, and as you can see, we're still dealing with the COVID-19 crisis, and so we had our vacuum hoses down for a month and a half, and we just recently put them back up. Here's a nice shot showing the solar panels at this car wash. About 5 years ago, we installed a very, very large solar system at this one. Here, customers driving onto the lot, which is interesting here, you'll be able to see how easy and fast it is to use our FastPass program. In this next shot coming up, you'll see the service advisor who has her face mask on scan the car very quickly, and that's all it takes to program the car. Here going in the tunnel, we prep every car. We use an auto roller up situation, so that obviously speeds the process up so the prepper doesn't have to do anything other than guide the car on and prep it. The different lights in the tunnel are really excited for the customers. They get nothing but a lot of great comments on that. And our dry and shine at the end that gives us a nice dry car. Coming out of the tunnel, you can see that you circle around and then head for the exit. And here is part of our big solar canopy that we installed again 5 years ago. As we come around the corner, you can see that none of our vacuum hoses are down in full serve. We're not doing that yet until the first of next month. We are doing exterior detailing, and so you can see that we have our social distancing spaces, and we have signs for asking the customers to actually sanitize your own seats. We have all the facilities there for them to do that. You see our 2-bay quick lube there and our detail bay on this particular site.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Matt DeWolf, Editor-in-Chief of Car Wash Magazine, and your host of Car Wash Magazine Live. We're coming to you from the Car Wash Show 2022 in Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to play some Plinko in a little bit here, but before we get to that, we've got an excellent conversation coming up for you between ICA's Eric Wolf and Spotless Brands' Russ Reynolds. I'm going to turn it over to you all now.
Thanks so much, Matt. Man, you love Plinko.
I love Plinko.
I'll admit to not knowing what that was before Monday. I mean, now I understand what it is, but you've really driven that back into the industry.
But do you like it?
I mean, yeah, not as much as you, but it's nice.
Oh, come on,
it's
man.
Nice. Thanks,
Come
Matt. Russ, hey, thanks for making time.
You bet.
We know how busy everybody is right now in the car wash business, and even on the last day of the show, I'm sure you're scurrying around. So thanks for giving us a few minutes this morning. Why don't we start, if you don't mind, give us your story, how you got to the car wash business, what your career background is, all those kinds of things. Set the stage.
Sure. So,
let's squeeze, that's okay. Let's squeeze that onto your ear.
Yep.
I'll even help.
There we go.
You got it? There you go.
Yep. So sorry about that. So I guess we just learned that the ear mics, I've got bigger ears than the ear mics.
No.
Extra large ears. So a quick background on me. I grew up in Roseville, Minnesota. We're famous for one thing there, which is that was where the first Target store was, the very first Target store. I started work there at 14 years old and have been in and out of multi-unit retail ever since. After a stint at Target through college in ops and in merchandising there, ended up joining a firm, a diversified conglomerate, publicly traded company called Pacific Dunlop. Ran a couple of businesses all around selling retailers, primarily in the automotive aftermarket. So, Walmart Inc., the parts chains that we all know, Napa, Advance Auto, AutoZone, O'Reilly's, and then ended up buying into a small business called Batteries Plus. It was a family-led business. I bought into that business and ran it for 18 years. We actually sold it to private equity. And then after the second sale to another private equity firm, we had reached about 650 stores, and I'd been the quarterback in the huddle a long time, and I exited. Had a brief stint in business services where I learned a lot about recurring revenue. And through, kind of connections in retail, ended up getting connected with the guys at Axis Holdings who are invested in what was called C1 and joined the business about 6 months ago.
Okay. Well, welcome to car washing. So with that background, interesting retail store management and growth, and then also the subscription recurring revenue piece. So what, if you don't mind me asking, what has been confirmed in your short experience in the car wash industry, the presumptions you had coming in? What has surprised you as you compare this business and what's going on to earlier stints you've had?
So I would say, two things. Number one, I saw as I looked at this business and got to know it, a lot of overlap with the franchising industry, which is, lots about institutional knowledge coming up from the local markets. And I think there is a real collegial atmosphere in the car wash industry. It's very clear. All of our partners have long, deep relationships with many of their peers in this industry and the information sharing. So that was confirmed. I think the size of the market confirmed. I knew the market was changing. I say what was amplified and surprised me was the pace of change, right? I thought it was moving quick. It's moving quicker than I thought. Market consolidation, I thought consolidation was occurring. I affectionately kind of describe it as the March Madness bracket. There's a lot going on that front. I think the shift in consumer behavior, not only towards the value of memberships and how that is accelerating within the industry, but also the shift in consumer behavior in terms of frequency of wash. We're educating consumers to think differently about the products and services we offer. And then, third and finally, I think, probably, a bit of surprise just in terms of, not only the intensity of development effort and the mix shift to Express, but I would say, I think every organization is learning to load balance that with executing on renovations, construction management. New development is very sequential. You buy a pad, piece of dirt, put a pad, go, 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 sequentially. I think in this business, there's no two renovations that I've seen that are the same. A couple of fraternal twins, but nothing that's identical. And I think that brings some complexity to how you execute on the growth of your organization.
Sure. Let's talk about how the network has come together for you all. You've acquired sort of 3 platforms, let's call them, brands that you've been focused on as your growth strategy. And let's talk about how did those come together? What's unique about them? I think the models are unique that you're running in some of those stores. And talk about how you came together and what your strategy is going forward for growth.
Sure. Yeah. Our first partnership was with Cobblestone, who I think is obviously very well known in the industry. Then second relationship was Oki Express. Fairly early adopters to the Express model. Swam that lane very effectively in the Oklahoma City market, and we've continued to expand the boundaries of that brand throughout Oklahoma. And then a flagship, creative, founder and partner, Guy Pelosi, that has driven a lot of innovation in the industry. I think the only known car wash in the industry that's over a Chick-fil-A, right? So as an example, in Vienna, Virginia. So I would say each of our partnerships brought a secret sauce, but I would say the common denominator is all premium operators, all with a relentless focus on quality and innovation. And I think, when you have that married to what we believe are premium markets, at least for our strategy, where we look to scale markets and densify, infill, outfill, stretch the boundaries of those markets and MSAs. Every market we're in, we believe we'll get to over 50 locations. So for us, that gives a really tight span of control, a really nice halo effect on the brand, and ability, I think, to continue to provide market leadership in those brands as we scale the organization. So common denominators across each of the brands, but also a secret sauce with each of the brands, and obviously a tremendous amount of institutional knowledge in each of the brands.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you look forward on the growth strategy, then you've got, Oki Express, you mentioned being an early adopter on the Express model, but if you look at Cobblestone and Flagship, interior cleaning, right? Flex serve, full serves. Is that a part of the future for what your growth is going to be? most folks right now are in that express exterior lane, as that's what's the driver of growth. When you look at acquisitions or greenfield, are you still into that business into the future? Do you like that? Is that scalable with the processes you've built out?
Yeah, the short answer is yes. I think the subplot is there's optionality there. Clearly, we have we have partnerships and operators that can run full, flex, or express in their experience set, and their organizations have that. Are we weighted towards express builds right now, either in our de novo work, which is almost exclusively express, or the M&A work we're doing? There's certainly conversions that have gone from flex to express. But I would say we continue to lean into what the market is telling us. And for example, in Northern Virginia, it's a hub and spoke model, which is we believe there is a place for a One Loudon, which is a very large double tunnel car wash under roof, surrounded by express locations. But for somebody that wants that extra TLC of a full service wash or detailing, we provide that. Do we want it in every location? Do we want that organizational complexity, labor complexity, process complexity in every location? No. So we'll wait towards express, but I think it gives us optionality to lean into where the market may tell us, hey, in this location, you may want to configure some of that complexity in because you'll be rewarded for it.
Yeah, and a differentiator versus what else is going on around here in the market. So really interesting. Can we talk about brand for a minute?
Sure.
So you went through a rebranding of the parent company from C1, you mentioned, to Spotless.
Sure.
But you've still maintained those brands, the 3 brands of the first 3 acquisitions. Will you keep 3 brands? Is it market dependent? Does it depend upon the next acquisition and their place in that space? But how do you think about organizing these brands?
Sure. So the short story on the shift from C1 to Spotless is when I tried to spell out my email name under Car Wash Owners Network, I said, okay, this is making me crazy. It's time for a change. So that was the immaculate strategy involved in that. But we did want to do something that was in range and brand relevant to tie the platform together, and we felt that Spotless hit that on a number of fronts. As it relates to local brands, we're big believers, and I think we're big believers in the strength of those local brands and local marketplace. So I would use Kroger as an analog. Kroger has markets where they will rebrand to Kroger, but Kroger has 19 brands under their portfolio. And so if they've got a great local brand that swims a lane, they want to invest and lean into that brand. Are there elements of Kroger behind the scenes? Sure. Right? But I think for us, we love all of our 3 brands. Cobblestone continues to grow in the West, Flagship's grow in the East. Oki, which is certainly, you're not going to drop an Oki Express in Austin, Texas, but we think it's a great state play. And while it's a 4-wall brand, it has a lot of brand equity, and we'll continue to lean into those, invest in them. Now, as you get to certain things like website development and those kinds of things, do you want to have one cake with different frostings? Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Especially now, thinking of the biography you gave us to kick this off, the industries you've been in, where do you think, if you had to make some bets, which is the nature of leadership to some degree, right? Trying to figure out what the future is going to be, and you get attacked towards something strategically. Where do you think this thing goes in 5 or 10 years? What does the landscape look like? Is it a few major players? Is it just scale? Is model a differentiator increasingly over time? But what do you think, where we have a highly fragmented still industry right now that's beginning to scale up and consolidate up, what do you think it looks like in 10 years? What is there any industry you think it's comparable to, what we could compare it in 10 years to be?
Sure. Well, I would say this just as an analog. I was around the parts chain consolidation, in the 80s and 90s. So I'm dating myself, but I was around for that. And it occurred over a fairly protracted period, call it 20 years, right? But, there wasn't a lot of private equity investment in that industry at that point in time either. Freeman Spogli bought Advance. So there started to be. So I think that's an accelerant. So I think you have to footnote that. But if you look at the footprint of the parts chain business right now, Napa Zone, Advance Auto, and O'Reilly's have 75% of the physical footprint in retail space in the U.S. And we're completely inverted to that. Do we go to 80-20 from 2080? I don't think that's probably, 3, 4, 5 years away. Do I think we're going to continue to migrate towards that? Absolutely. And we all know this. we're close on 100 units now. We think we'll be 175 units or so open before the end of the year with our existing pipeline. But there's a lot of folks in that middle market kind of range from 75 to 150, and I think they all have a thesis on continuing to grow. But I would also say, and this is one of the things I love about this industry, there are still a lot of local operators with banging car washes that are, putting up a new express and, in an outfill expansion, continuing to grow. And they have optionality. Can they join a bigger team? Sure. Can they do a great job as a local brand in a local market? The answer is probably sure. So where it shakes out, I would say that mix is going to shift. Does it probably tip towards the majority of physical locations being more than 50, 60%, 7, 8, 9 years from now? Yeah, probably.
Okay. So as we march toward that, maybe my final question to you would be, what kind of information do you look at that informs your strategy? So you would change your outlook, or you would change what you're doing if, and if as an example right now, the stock market's had a rough week, right? Interest rates are going up. We got supply chain problems, but multiples are going up in the car wash industry in terms of valuations of stores. So what stuff do you look at? Where do you draw information? Who do you listen to maybe that informs your, or is it on the street intel from your network that informs your strategy and lets you know when you might want to modify and tack?
It's a great question. So I think, first of all, I'm blessed in an environment with our partnership, and this was very intentional for me personally as I thought about joining this organization. I'm invested in it financially and professionally, but I think we want to operate as if we're going to own everything, forever. And I think when that is your investment thesis, it allows you to, not get distracted by, data points that are going to ebb and flow. You can't ignore them, but it allows you to be less distracted by the here and now. So we continue to focus on, I think for us, if we're in premium markets with premium partners, building a premium platform, which is the right mix of that local resource with things you don't want to do twice. Nobody wants 10 lawyers in the building, right? So we'll have one, right? That will serve all the brands. And then I think for us, there's a three-legged stool, which is if you're going to grow in this industry, you have to be a good hunter. But if you're going to be a sustainable quality provider in this industry, and we have a relentless focus on quality, you have to operate what you buy or build. You have to operate it well. And then third, I think for us, you need to continue, as you do that, to build the right kind of infrastructure. So for us, to answer your question on the kinds of things we look at, we think we want that right mix of data and drive-by field. That institutional knowledge, I can take, Guy or Tuck to a corner, and they will look at that corner, and it's a little bit like watching a hunting dog. The nose will go up in the air, and they might say, no, we need to be one block down. And that is a data point we don't want to discount.
Right.
But if you come alongside that with, 100 growing to, close to 200 units of data, we got 3 different point of sale systems, but we put in a data warehouse. So now we can move from, regional data to national data. We can look at a broader set of cohorts. So now it's not that store looks like that store. It's that store looks like these 4 stores. Right. What can we do with that data to make better decisions? We want that mix of data and drive-by feel, quantitative and qualitative. And I think if we do, we'll make the right decisions.
Well, Russ, you've got some great partners and platforms you have found. Your background is going to be an interesting asset to this march forward for your organization, for Spotless and those brands. I want to thank you for giving us some time.
Thank you very much for the time.
And we'll check in with you next year, perhaps.
These cauliflower ears still aren't holding this earbud, but that's all right.
We got you. Thanks so much,
All right,
Russ.
thanks a lot.
Matt, back to you.
Here we go. Thank you very much for spending that time with us. It's really valuable stuff, and I'm really excited that we have that because Car Wash Magazine Live, all the video work we do, everything we do from a communications perspective is all about sharing those great stories. We believe very strongly in the power of positive storytelling, and so this is one great example of that in the flesh. So thank you again.
Thank you, sir. No, thank you.
Okay, we're going to play Plinko. You gentlemen can sit for the game if you want, or you can go about your business.
We're going to stretch our legs.
Yeah, you can, yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're going to do one more Plinko after our next session, which will be our grand prize Plinko, where we're going to put a Car Wash Show 2023 package back on the board. But for this one, our lucky person is going to have the opportunity to win 2 prizes. All right, so who would like a chance to win prizes? Who wants free stuff? Come on. All right, you'll do it. Yeah, here we go. Come on up. I know, I've seen you this whole time. You got to play. Yeah. Yeah. That's so gracious of you. Yeah. Come on up.
And the same got the 2 prizes
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Dawn Moyer. We're from Charlotte, North Carolina. It's our very first show.
Oh, excellent. So tell me how it's been for you.
It's been amazing. It's been a little bit like drinking from a fire hose. But we are so excited and fired up to be part of this
thing.
I don't know this movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's super exciting.
Yeah.
So what was it? What was it that made you get into this industry?
Well, we've been looking at it. I'm going to have to use my husband's talking points. We've been looking at this for a couple of years. He's ending his, getting close to ending his regular job, and so we're looking for something to kind of cross over for that retirement age and to leave legacy for our family, and so
all the right.
And this just seems like it's a great business decision. But now that we're here, we're finding out it's a great people decision. Like, these are some really great people in this industry, and we're loving it.
Well, we always say that once you get a little bit of the chemistry in your blood, it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
So
we feel that way.
Here's the deal.
Okay.
You can move those around if you want to, or you can leave them as they are.
Probably leave them like they are.
Okay. So I'm going to give you 1 chip now, and then there's actually a bag on the back full of chips that anybody could drop, so there's that. And you can walk around and climb on up. Yeah, watch your step a little bit. Yeah, it's a little.
This is scary.
Yeah.
Not a good place to be if you're afraid of heights.
No. So she's here. She's here. We got her. All right, good. All right. Okay, so, anywhere you want, and we're going to do a countdown. So 3, 2, 1, drop. Oh. Hey, $50. There we go. All right. Let's do the second one. 3, 2, 1, drop. Boom, right to the earbuds. Excellent. Come on down. Congratulations. $50 and a set of earbuds. You can't beat that. I mean, you could maybe beat it with like a car wash show package that we're going to do next, but I appreciate you. Thanks. You can get your prize from the back table back there, and we'll get rocking and rolling. Thank you. Hey, up next, we've got John Teddy from Driven Brands North America, going to have a conversation with Eric Wolf from the International Car Wash Association. And then after that, we've got grand prize Plinko. Friends, keep it clean. Welcome back, everybody. This is Car Wash Magazine Live. I am Matt DeWolf, the editor-in-chief of Car Wash Magazine, and your host on this adventure. Up next, to round out our final day of content here at the Car Wash Show in Nashville, we've got a special conversation with John Teddy of Driven Brands North America and ICA's Eric Wolf. All yours.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much. John, thanks for the time.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're how many months into this again? Remind me.
I am 6 fulsome months into this thing.
So you've got it all figured out. You know where it's going. You've met all the players. Everything's set and almost done.
Know how to navigate this chaotic floor and all the different things going on. Yeah, everything's 100% figured out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you might not be a great liar, but that's not a horrible thing.
Fair enough.
Let's talk about first you a little bit. You've had a diversified background before car washing. Give us a little bit of your story, how you got here, and what you were doing before car washing.
Yeah, sure. So biggest bulk of my story is being in the retail sector, specifically home improvement. So I spent time at Home Depot and also then spent time at Lowe's when a bunch of Home Depot execs got pulled over to Lowe's in recent years. So a bit of a trader. I've still maintained friends on both sides of the aisle, but in between those stints, I actually came to Driven Brands, which is the owner of ICWG now is becoming and evolving into Driven Brands North America Car Wash. But I spent time running our Take 5 oil change business, which at the time when I started was under 100 units and now is over 600 units nationwide. So again, retail consumer largely, was at Driven before and kind of came back when the opportunity presented itself to get back in this car wash game that I'm in now. So
well, we're glad you're here. Thanks for sticking with us. Talk a little bit about, if you would, the profile of the North American company that you head up, the car wash side of things. Obviously, there's a significant portfolio overseas, Europe, some Australia, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. You're focused on the North American market. Talk about that one, if you would, the profile of it.
Yeah, sure. So 340 units and growing across the country. We are, we range in geography from the Mountain West through to, Florida, the Southeast and Mid-Atlantic, up the East Coast. So at this point, relatively wide geographic distribution. And we've been growing pretty significantly over the past year in particular, but certainly, over the past number of years, along with the overall growth of the car wash segment.
Now, for you, for growth specifically, you've been, if it's fair to say, primarily an acquirer thus far. Is Greenfield a part of what you're looking to do? Is that mix changing? Do you expect it to change, or do you still think there's enough acquisition opportunities that make sense that that's the leading focus for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, look, we've certainly, to your point, have been on the acquisition side of things in the past year and a half, but we absolutely have been, and we're a part of a publicly traded entity in Driven Brands, so we've publicly said that, Greenfields is a path that we are going down. It's a core competency of Driven Brands to build automotive units in a number of different segments in the space, and so after Driven Brands acquired the ICWG business, that became a focus. Like, we need to build that greenfield competency in this segment. It's really attractive unit economics when we get into the greenfield side. It's a great way to balance out the portfolio approach, and we feel really, really good about where we are. We've opened a couple this year thus far, and are starting to see that momentum build and building that muscle. And we're definitely going to see more of that in the future.
Yeah. As part of not surprisingly, when you're growing through acquisition, you begin aggregating not just stores but brands, and Driven has had different monikers, at least from us in the car wash industry. We've seen IMO and ICWG and Driven, and now you have in your portfolio several different brands. And can you talk about, are you building from some of those market identifiable brands? Will you eventually evolve that? Where does local brands below Driven come into play for your future strategy?
Yeah, it's a great question, and one, to be honest, that I'm still, in my seat trying to get the best answer around. I will tell you, we've got a couple of great legacy brands in our business that we love, and folks are doing a really nice regional job. But you see I'm wearing the Take 5 Car Wash logo here today. Take 5 Oil Change is a strong segment within Driven Brands, and it speaks to consumers about fast, friendly, simple oil change services, and that's a high-frequency category. And we see a lot of analog with the oil change business in terms of need and frequency to the car wash business. And so We are testing the idea of, can we combine those two segments under one brand and deliver that fast, friendly experience, across both under a shared banner. So we're testing and trying out a lot of different things right now, and hope I'll have a better, more direct answer for you here in short order.
Sure. So you mentioned your previous background and diverse experience, as I said. What does your experience tell you about what's happening in this business? I mean, you and I were talking before we got up here about how fast it's moving. And have you seen anything like that before? Have you seen an industry go through a structural change before that informs where you think this is going to go in 5 and 10 years? Like, what is it, similar or dissimilar to what you've seen elsewhere?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, the segment itself is just growing rapidly. And so, there's a lot of room for new entrants and growth, and that's a lot of what we're seeing, happen now. And I have seen that in certain segments in the past. I think what's also, though, happening at the same time is how the segment is pivoting and how the customer is served. And so this notion of, even while the express segment is growing materially itself, you've also, within the express segment, see so much movement from retail consumers to member consumers, and that then changes behavior and capabilities that you want to have to serve those members in ways that fundamentally differentiate you from your competition over time. So that, to me, most analogous in the retail space to kind of how we saw the shift over the past 10, 15 years from kind of traditional brick and mortar commerce, retail transactional, to online digital commerce, and that kind of changes the nature of the relationship you have with the customer a bit and opens new ways to connect you to the customer. So, again, segment growth at a high rate is something that I have seen, but I think it's the pivot here that's to me the most interesting dynamic that's at play right now.
Yeah. A lot of things you could point to that are changing fast, right? And interesting highlight of one there. What information, from the seat you sit in, what information are you looking at that's going to inform your decision going forward? I mean, there's the macro stuff, right? There's international conflict, and we know supply chain is an issue. There's interest rates going up. It's been a bad week for the stock market. Those are things that change week to week or month to month maybe. But in the car wash space, what maybe people or companies do you look at, or is it intelligence from the street at the store level you're looking at? But what is the intel that comes up into your C-suite that helps you know that you're on the right track, or it's time to maybe tack your strategy elsewhere?
Yeah, look, we've grown to a meaningful scale already as a company that we are really excited about. I mean, first and foremost for me, I'm focused on the fundamentals of that business. As the operator of the business, I've got to be able to say, no matter how the industry looks, whether, and how we think about those things, how are we doing in our core business, and are we ready to continue to scale that out? And so that's really where my, again, being 6 months in, my first and foremost focus has been. I understand and have been through the process before of going through rapid growth and growth through acquisition and growth through greenfield. And, there's great strength to that. It also takes great discipline to grow through that and learnings through that. And so, for me, you mentioned a lot of macro metrics, industry metrics. We're certainly talking about that. We were in the segment for a reason. We're doing what we're doing for a reason. But I can tell you, first and foremost, when I wake up every morning, I am looking at how our core business is performing. Are we becoming better and better car wash operators at scale? Are we bringing in the right people who can help us be better car wash operators, the right partners who can help us do that? That is every day in and day out my singular focus right now.
Yeah, great. Let's talk a little bit about, on the acquisition side of things, what are some of the differentiators of Driven, and if it's Take 5 at some point, but the network you're managing, is it when you sit down with a prospective acquisition, someone looking to sell their business, you're going to have a story about, and you're going to try to educate them on your culture, your people, your vision, et cetera. What's a differentiator for your company versus other options that sellers may have? And then are there any things unique about how you look at a prospective acquisition, right? That you're looking at, of course, the store performance or their P&L, their car count, whatever it might be. Is it their culture, their people, their location, their model? So both as a acquirer and acquiree, what's different about Driven?
Yeah, it's a great question. So on the first part of your question, I mean, first and foremost, we have a fantastic M&A team. And back to the core competencies of Driven Brands, I mean, that's also a core competency. We've been an acquirer across multiple segments. The oil change segment is a good example of that. And I think our M&A team tends to have a very good reputation as being, a great team to work with. And they are, just last night I saw them hosting 60 or so sellers downtown for a social event. And I know a lot of that is just relationship building for them. They're very, very good at it, and I think people enjoy working with them. So we have that as a strength, number one. Number two, when it comes to sitting down on the table with a seller, I've seen this so many times, and I love sitting with sellers who are passionate about the business they run, the people who are in it. Yep. That's a great litmus test to start and say, are we buying something great? How passionate is the seller? If they're passionate about it, the first thing they're going to ask is, how are you going to take care of my people? And so what I think we uniquely have the ability to offer as Driven Brands is we offer folks who may have worked in a 1, 2, 3, 10-unit operation, we offer them a whole different ceiling for their careers. We offer them a path that says you can be a district manager, a regional director, a division vice president, you can lead, a membership program nationally. I mean, there are so many career paths that folks can take from, being acquired when they become acquired by Driven. And so I love being able to speak to that, when it comes to sitting down at the table. And then lastly, to your question around kind of what are we looking at that's different than just the core metrics or things of that nature. I mean, yeah, we do look at culture, and we look at, we want to understand, growth is one thing. They'll see on a P&L, there's numbers that represent growth, but has it been healthy growth? Has it been good growth? Have you been buying your growth, or have you been truly, building a membership base that's lasting, a customer base that's lasting? Because we as owners, we want to take on something that's going to continue to grow, not something that we're going to be course correcting. And so there are things we do look at under the hood that give us a little more confidence that that's true. But that's, there's a lot that goes into it, and that's one piece I highlight.
Sure. Last question, if you don't mind, and unless you have other questions you want us to pose to you, but one I'm curious about is what advice might you have for operators out there? Let's say they've been in it for a few years, they got a few stores, and they're at that inflection of like, do I want to stay with this? How can I remain competitive? Or how do I position myself best to be ready to sell my business? I mean, if you were an independent right now, somebody walks up to you on the golf course or at a restaurant and says, hey, John, I'm at that stage where I don't know which way to go. How do I get ready so I have the most opportunity and options eventually? What do you tell those people? How can they best position themselves?
Yeah, I mean, as far as getting ready to sell, it's great. I mean, keep doing what you're doing. I mean, I think the worst thing you can do, to take it in another direction, the worst thing you can do when you get ready to sell is stop doing the things that you've always done that made you great. And you can get pulled out of your day-to-day because of you've got now some accountant who needs you to pull some numbers together, or you've got some, some competing needs you have legal needs to pull some stuff together. So there's practical things that can pull you out of focus. You can also, try to do things to artificially change things about how the business has been performing. I mean, don't do those things. Keep doing what you're doing. If you got someone approaching you who wants to buy your business, it's because what you've done to get to now is great, and keep doing that. And don't change what you're doing. Yeah. So first and foremost, I think that's what I'd say. I mean, of course, beyond that, there's a lot of brokers and others around here who can probably give some other advice on things you could do to position yourself for sale. But for me as an operator, that's the advice I'd give is, don't change who you are and represent fully who you are in the best way. And you're going to have people that, again, I said, you asked, what do we look at when we look at M&A? I mean, we look at culture. And so if we want to see that seller who is taking care of the business all the way to the end, and in fact is going to help us in transition to make sure that the people at that site are successful going forward as well. So we want to see that commitment all the way through to the end of the deal.
Great. Well, John, listening to you, we could go a lot longer than the 15 minutes or so. You've done a lot in 6 months, and congratulations on the success, and the road forward for you guys, I'm sure, is bright, and with your leadership, a lot of opportunity out there. So thanks for giving us time at a busy time, and maybe we'll check in with you a year from now and see how it's going.
Thank you for having me. It's a great event. Really appreciate it. So
Thanks,
thank you.
John. To Matt DeWolf.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. I mean,
Yeah.
it's super impactful. I'm
Happy
really
to do
excited
it.
to hear it.
Happy to do it.
Awesome. You guys can stay here. You can go away.
Oh, no, we're leaving.
Oh,
Yeah.
I keep trying to get them to stay. They don't want to stay. Okay, so this is the final Plinko chip of the event. Who wants to drop it? Yeah, brother, come up. Yep. Yeah. See, all you got to do is volunteer, and you can win a grand prize. Come on up, my man. All right, so in the center square there, I guess that's a square, is a car wash show package for 2023. Lots of other things. I'll let you rearrange those any way you want them. Ooh, all right. I like that move. I think that's an interesting move. Oh, you're okay. You're all right. All right, come on up. Come on up on the stage with me, man. All right. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Hey, I'm Ahmed Bawa, Penguin Capital.
Awesome. Okay, so you're sure?
It's fine, go for it.
Yeah, all right. I'll trade you. Okay, so you know what's gonna happen, right? So you swapped those. So you put that package there and you put the speaker in the middle. You know what you're gonna win, right? The speaker. You're gonna get the speaker. Probably. Come on up. So you're gonna go around here, go around the corner, and you'll climb up here in the back. You're gonna set it on the plywood panel there, and then don't drop it until I get a 3, 2, 1 drop for you. Yeah, you can go up one more if you want. Use that top handle. Yep. Yeah, in between the things. Don't drop it yet though. So put it flat up against the wood, and drop it down a little bit so we can see the puck. All right. Yep, you got it. Okay, so here we go. 3, 2, 1, drop. Oh, so close. So close. It's earbuds, my friend. You won earbuds. You can collect those from the back, get your coupon, and they will take you over to the DRB booth to get your prize. Earbuds, congratulations. Yeah, man, absolutely. Thank you so much for playing Plinko with me. Thank you for indulging me in this activity. Friends, it's been a great show. We've had a ton of great content for you all. You'll be able to see a lot of this content online as well through the carwashmagazine.com website, and most importantly, in the Car Wash Magazine app. So make sure you download that app. Make sure you always have the content you want in the palm of your hand. That's got podcast episodes. That's got video tours that you're seeing around the hall here. That's got all of our recaps, all of our things. It all goes in that app, and so make sure you download that. This has been a great 3 days here at the Car Wash Show, and I'm so thankful that I get the opportunity to help share so many great stories. You can catch us next week, maybe next week. I may not be recovered from this event by then, but we will be broadcasting as usual on a weekly basis. We release our podcast every week. And until then, when you're out there and you're just killing it washing cars, there's only one thing you got to do, and that is keep it clean.